So apparently Joe Rogan has the most popular podcast on Spotify, and he's repeatedly spread COVID misinformation and invited guests on to do the same.
Went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did.
Worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news. And we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won. And this is, and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
Picture this Joe Rogan chugging elk meat smoothies and minding his own primal business until a few ran their mouths one time too many. Now is dropping a $100 million defamation lawsuit on them, so massive it should come with its own cage match commentary, Whoopi's regretting every loud-mouthed rant Son is sweating through a contour. And Joy, she's just sitting there looking like someone unplugged her brain mid-sentence. Is this a court case or the messiest crossover since reality TV met? Politics either way, it's on now. Rewind a bit, imagine Joe Rogan mid-kettlebell swing or deep into an ayahuasca trip in the jungle decoding the secrets of the universe. Suddenly, he freezes, eyebrow raised, one word enough after years of being the internet's MMA philosopher and punching bag for the View's drama queen. Joe finally said what most of America's been thinking.
That's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
We're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal note.
I don't know these people. Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said. Yeah. You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't believe
the other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said was there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles.
This clown show has got to end. It being called everything under the sun by a table full of media elites who treat gossip like gospel, and now the guy who wrestles reality for sport is about to take them all to court, no gloves, on The View, a.k.a. the daily brunch table where 5 media moms sip their ego lattes and pretend reading one headline makes them constitutional scholars. It's a round table of unchecked egos louder than facts and somehow even messier than reality TV 5 host 1 table 0. Chill enough passive-aggressive energy to power a small country, and in their usual wisdom or lack of it, they figured it was genius to go after Joe Rogan, accusing him of basically everything short of faking the moon landing and inventing COVID. They drag his name through the mud like it was open MIC night for nonsense. Now here's the insane part. Joe didn't even step near. They said he wasn't a guest, didn't wave from across the street, didn't even send a shady tweet or leftover elk jerky nada. But somehow the self-appointed queens of correct opinions made him the headline act on their verbal buffet. Joy Behar rolled her eyes so hard she nearly popped a socket. And Whoopi, she chimed in with that serious, righteous tone as if she's never once been caught tripping over her own contradictions. So what did Rogan do?
Is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. And they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's just, it's a bizarre show.
Oh, he snapped, and just like that, he slammed down a $100 million lawsuit on them like a folding chair flying through a WWE pay-per-view. Boom. Yep, you heard that right. The same dude who once dared contestants to swallow cow guts for TV clout is now dishing out legal papers like they are part of his next survival challenge, except this time the stakes are real. And the prize reputation. Let's get one thing straight. This ain't about bruised egos or someone poking fun at Joe's haircut or alpha male. Lifestyle Rogan's skin is thicker than a bison hide. When you start tossing around claims that could wreck contract, crush credibility, and tank his Spotify empire, that's a different beast. Saying I disagree with him is fine, say it all day, but shouting into national TV that is a threat to humanity while swirling overpriced coffee and acting like you solve world peace on a morning panel, that's reckless. And apparently the ladies of The View thought that just because it's daytime TV, they had a Golden immunity pass to say whatever they wanted with no consequences. Spoiler alert, ABC airtime. Doesn't make you Judge Judy. You don't get to throw shade with a smile and think you won't get boned.
Joe Rogan here. Did you see Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons, I guess? According to Joy Behar, he changed his X profile. Did you see this?
That. I did see that.
It now just simply says dragon believer. He had talked about dragons on the show. It's, the thing of it is, you take anything out of context and you can make fun of it and mock it. And so, let's do that. It goes without saying, Joe Rogan, how many times more intelligent do you think Joe Rogan is than Joy Behar?
And now reality's knocking hard because Joe Rogan is not just a podcaster, he's a media machine with a $200 million war chest and a black belt in cutting through media nonsense. And is done playing polite. This lawsuit isn't some cute PR slap. His legal squad didn't show up with scented paper and good vibes. They came locked and loaded, ready to drag this mess into the courtroom spotlight. And Joe's team didn't show up empty-handed. They came. Stack receipts, video clips, transcripts, side-by-side fact. Breakdowns, basically a legal mixtape proving that the View's commentary wasn't just messy, it was miles away from truth, and that word facts feels like it's been on vacation from daytime TV for years. So what did they say that crossed the line, or just your usual casual defamation when you accuse someone with a platform the size of Rogan's of intentionally spreading misinformation? You'd better come with ironclad proof, not vibes, but the view they brought. Noise, loud roar, barely connected to reality. Their takes were shakier than a Jenga tower during an earthquake, and let's be clear, this isn't about Joe being offended, this is business. When they toss his name into the chaos blender and hit Puri on live TV, it sends waves through partnership. Spotify might flirt with controversy, but only when it prints money. This time the mess was tipping into real risk. Brand risk. Joe's legal team laid it out. This wasn't harmless banter, it was reputation arson pure. Liability fueled disguised as morning chatter.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way. So when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
The bad information that's going out there.
Well, in defense, there are some really good news.
It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
There are some really good news kind of influencer types, and I think it's great that they're getting information about global and current events in front of younger people who maybe don't tune into traditional media. But to Sarah's point, there has to be some fact-checking and actually verification of the things that are shared, because I spend a lot of time on Instagram Reels, and I'm served up things that I get outraged about, and then I realize, oh, that's not.
And how did the host react, though? It was Oscar-worthy confusion. Joy Behar looked like someone just told her Hawaiian delivery got cancelled. Tsunami host tried to talk in legalese mid-segment like she passed by during a coffee break. And Whoopi, our spiritual sage of contradiction, she dropped the classic, well, it's just our opinion, like that's a magical shield in court. But here's the real kicker: once your opinion hits millions of screens, it's no longer harmless chit-chat, it becomes influence, and if there's no receipts backing it up, you better brace for consequences. Because Rogan sure brought his note. This wasn't a careful critique. This was more like, let's just label him dangerous and hope the applause buries the lawsuit risk. Classic move, but here's a twist. Rogan fired back the only way he knows how, straight through the MIC on the most listened to podcast on earth. That's like a mosquito trying to roast a lion only to get its whole bloodline vaporized on blast in every gym sauna. And conspiracy subreddit from here to Mars. And Joe, he torched them, broke down their nonsense point by point, mocked the chaos, and did it all with that signature Rogan smirk, the kind that screams, I lift more truth in one rep than you'll do with a year's worth of cards.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it, because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said
on television.
Just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has that. He has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail,
And the fans, oh, they erupted. Reddit lit up with threads so long they looked like digital Supreme Court filings. YouTube comment sections morphed into debate clubs with better research than half the media. Twitter became a full-blown Coliseum. Team Rogan sharpening memes like battle axes, while the View's defenders scrambled to figure out how to unsee the wreckage. But this isn't just Joe versus daytime TV drama. This is about media responsibility, because for years shows like The View have danced around the facts, throwing shade while hiding behind the cozy cushion of light entertainment. They crack jokes, throw jabs, play judge and jury, but the moment someone claps back, suddenly they're just chatting over coffee. No harm, no foul, except there is harm when you name names and smear reputations. And that weird just talk show host excuse, it falls apart quicker than a Kardashian vow renewal. This $100 million lawsuit, it's not just revenge, it's a siren, a clear message, the age of consequence-free. Commentary might be officially over, that era of saying whatever on A and assuming no one will clap back. Yeah, that might be done. You can't just throw half-cooked narratives at public figures and expect silence, especially not when your target has a bigger audience than most prime-time networks combined.
I agree that Joe Rogan is a horror.
I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation?
And let's not forget The View as a long record of wild takes and viral face palms. This is the same show that once seriously debated whether the earth is flat, a show where brunch chatter casually drifts into historical revisionism like it's part of the menu. And now they're acting stunned shocked that someone with both the rage and the receipts finally hit back. Meanwhile, Rogan Man's over on his podcast sipping mushroom tea like it's a chill Saturday and effortlessly ripping their arguments apart. Like his grading white belts in a beginner jiu-jitsu class, is not yelling, is not sweating, is laughing, because nothing rattles smug TV hosts faster than someone who can out-talk them, out-think them, and do it without breaking a sweat. That smirk deadly. And the timing flawless. Just when The View thought they were surfing a wave of political moral high ground, boom, a legal tsunami rolls in and wipes out the whole beach. They thought they were scoring social points with the crowd. Instead, they open their eyes mid-show and realize they were trapped in a legal cage match against a man who literally trains in cage matches. This isn't just some media slap fight. This is a main event, and right now the audience isn't clapping, they're grabbing popcorn.
Arguably, like, the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like, they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school, and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
That's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, are just very.
There's something weirdly poetic about all this. The very crew who spend their mornings preaching accountability for public figures suddenly ducking behind a weak excuse of we were just talking, or really like they've never heard of the time defamation lawsuit before. Newsflash, it's not just real, it's now officially on Joe's playlist. And then boom, crash silence, the kind of silence so loud it makes your ears ringing the moment news broke that Joe Rogan had launched a $100 million legal missile straight at The View's Manhattan soundstage. Everything just froze. Joy Behar went quiet like MIC unplugged hard reset. The soul quiet, no zingers, no trademark. I roll nothing. ABC, of course, did what every massive media machine does when it realizes it might have just triggered financial Armageddon. They call the lawyers, and not just any lawyers. Disney's legal fortress kicked into overdrive, reportedly scrambling into red alert meetings, probably asking the same thing everyone at home was thinking. Wait, did we really say something that just cost us the GDP of a small country? And then came the corporate statement, the one polished, sterile, utterly meaningless. We are aware of the matter and are currently reviewing our legal options translation. Please, dear God, don't let this end up in court, because behind those rehearsed smiles and studio lights, the real drama isn't what they said on air. It's a fallout they never saw coming.
A show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies infested hen house.
And at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Yes.
And that's their audience.
Yes. Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows.
But behind the studio doors, though things were far from calm, the vibe inside ABC was somewhere between a real housewife screaming match and a corporate compliance seminar gone off the rails. Whispers flew faster than Whoopi could mumble allegedly into her MIC. Was a retraction coming, an apology, a desperate mascara smudged sit-on interview, where someone fake cries while sipping chamomile tea from a mug that says live, love, love, nothing confirmed, but insiders. Claimed execs were floating the idea of on-air clarification, network code for we're not admitting anything, but please don't sue us into bankruptcy. Meanwhile, the internet straight-up gladiator mode. Rogan's fans turned Reddit into a digital battleground. Fred titles like Joe Rogan versus The View, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor were everywhere. Memes flew faster than lawsuits. Twitter was a war zone. Team Rogan lighting it up with clapbacks, while The View's defenders looked like they were Googling what is qualified immunity? And the irony, both sides suddenly yelling about free speech, but from completely different angles. One side crying censorship, the other screaming defamation, which brings us to the core of this chaos casserole, why this lawsuit actually matters, because this isn't just a beef between a jacked-up podcast legend and a table full of talk show hot takes. This is a cultural moment, a legal battle that's about to draw the line between opinion and outright reputation wrecking.
I had to read the thing about The View because I just thought it was funny.
What's the
The
View?
only reason why I read that about me.
Dragon lover.
Joy Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
Wait, what is this? I just heard about it.
I checked it. And the lady goes, did you double check this? She goes, I checked it. He believes in dragons.
Should be like
you think
Sasquatch,
they live alongside of people.
This ain't just courtroom drama. It's about that blurry, dangerous popcorn grease line between free speech and reckless MIC flinging. We're living in an era where talking heads hold more influence than half the people writing laws. So when a daytime talk show beamed into millions of homes casually tosses out major accusations like it's brunch gossip, was the accountability? Just because it's wrapped in laughter and commercial breaks doesn't mean it's harmless. Joe Rogan's lawsuit, whether you see him as a truth-seeking savage or just a sentient protein shake with Wi-Fi, is raising one heavy question. Can a talk show straight up call someone dangerous with no proof and get away with it? Because if he wins even partially, the shockwaves are going to hit more than just a view. This could flip the whole script. YouTubers, TikTokers, Twitter warriors suddenly realizing that they are totally factual roasts might need legal footnotes. Influencers out here rewriting captions mid-post like, allegedly don't sue me.
Doesn't The View have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them. It has a lot of second and third takes. After a drink, you'd go, huh? But it doesn't have a ton of...
But the real kick of the Joe Rogan effect isn't just legal, it's cultural. Is not whining into a phone camera or begging for sympathy in the comments, is swinging back with steak knives, Spotify checks, and courtroom receipts. His message is loud: you come for me with lies, don't expect tears, expect a lawsuit. And maybe a 3-hour podcast dragging you in high definition. So next time someone on The View starts off with, you know what Joe Rogan said, they might take a long pause, sip their coffee, and say nothing, because sure, free speech still exists, but so do subpoenas, court fees, and legal teams that charge by the Nankin. And let's be real, a huge part of the public is eating this drama like it's a grand finale of a scandal-packed reality show. We all love a good takedown, especially when it targets the untouchables. And right now, the ladies of The View might as well have panic buttons under their chairs, because whether they admit it or not, this got very real, very fast. Could it go to court? Maybe. But let's be honest, network execs know what time it is. They understand something the host clearly missed. Dragging this mess into a courtroom only amplifies the fallout. The safer place, settle it quietly behind closed doors, cut a fat Disney-sized check, and pray it disappear from the headlines. But here's the twist, the damage already done. They mess with a man who doesn't just speak, he broadcasts globally, daily, loudly. So when you throw wild accusations that someone with the biggest MIC in the room and a fan base that treats Reddit like a courtroom, you better be wrapped in legal Kevlar. This saga, it's the perfect reminder that in the age of viral receipts and digital mobs, even the loudest mouths need to pause before they squawk, because one slip up, one misquote, and boom, you're trending for all the wrong reasons. And Joe Rogan is just chilling, probably shirtless, definitely sipping something weird watching the chaos unfold like it's just another episode in his content archive arm with both a podcast and a legal team that hits harder than a roundhouse kick to the ego. So if you're loving this breakdown of drama, defamation, and daytime delusion, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your take in the comments below. This isn't over. And trust me, you don't want to miss the next round. And see you in the next one.